Back. You may think that guy is this guy, but it's not. It's John DiDomenico. He's a great friend of the show, and he's an unbelievable Trump impersonator. I have my Trump pen.
Don't touch the hair.
DiDomenico has the same thing. He doesn't want you touching his wig or anything like that. But well, welcome back to a Thirsty Thursday edition of Liquid Lunch. We're coming to you live as we do every day from the Newsmax headquarters here in Midtown Manhattan. Downtown New York Stock Exchange holding all those gains, still up 400. We'll get into more on what's happening in the markets a little later in the show, but joining us again to mix it up a little more, it's David Eisenbach and Fog City Midge. And, it's going to have a little fun with this one, but, the whole Dorian thing, I thought God bless the people in the Bahamas and Abaco Islands, and I know, they're reporting 5 to 10 deaths, and that may go up, and it's a terrible tragedy for the Bahamas. But here in America, nothing happened to it. And now Trump was taken to task for saying that the thing could go as far as Alabama. And the left-wing media is all over him saying that he lied, and then no one ever said it would go to Alabama. What do you think, Mitch? I mean, the guy can't do anything right with
No,
them.
of course. It's hilarious. And of course, it's the left-wing media that wants to attack Trump anytime he lies or gets anything wrong and making it a bigger deal than it is. But it's really funny because, to me, I thought we elected a president, not a meteorologist. So I don't really think that you can hold Trump on not getting the weather right. Otherwise, next time there's a Democratic president, I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
I'm going to be mad if they can't predict the weather.
David, should we be checking Joe Biden on his meteorological skills?
Well, the problem is that he didn't just say it's going to hit Alabama. He doubled down days later after it started becoming a thing, and he presented this new photograph that was created by NOAA, which he allegedly, according to Bloomberg,
NOAA from the Ark?
No, from the federal government.
That's actually the flooding and everything. NOAA came out of the woodwork or something.
So he put this magic marker to indicate that it's actually going to Alabama. The problem here is the presidential credibility. When you start to now kind of create this notion that nothing the president says, nothing the president does in talking about emergencies can be believed. If he does have an emergency and he does have to kind of present evidence to the world and to the American public to get something done, the credibility isn't going to be there.
Did you see, did either of you see, they have these spaghetti models, all the different possible tracks, the European model. Did you see any of those? They show you all the different lines that they think it could take when they model it out. A couple of them was zipping right across Florida, not the Sharpie one that allegedly Trump drew in, but there were earlier models that were showing it going right across Florida and up into the Panhandle.
My point is, I don't understand why he didn't just leave it alone. No one cares. Why bring that ridiculous Sharpie, elaborated image?
I saw the same. I saw the same poster, right? Of the, Trump holding it up. I don't think that Trump's sitting there like, you guys, you know what? Like, before we go on, I really think we got to take a Sharpie and make this a little bigger. I don't think that's what happened.
Well,
I'm pretty sure someone's sitting there, briefing Trump on what the potential, course could be. I don't think that Trump's sitting there with a Sharpie. That's pretty outrageous.
Well, Trump says the hurricane may hit Alabama, and this is national news. Joe Biden forgets he's in New Hampshire. He says, I love it. I love it here in Vermont. It's fantastic. I've been here many times, and he's in New Hampshire. And that gets brushed under the rug. Oh, old Joe, he's just kidding.
Yeah.
There's a opposition between the coverage that's crazy. You know what I mean? There's the leading candidate doesn't know what state he's in.
Right.
And that gets brushed under the rug. The president says it may go as far as Alabama, and it's national news.
Right. Well, there's a difference between president and presidential candidate, and we could have all shrugged it off if he just said Alabama and then everybody forgot about it. But he doubled down with that poster and the
comes
Sharpie.
Back with his own little mappy poo, and I thought it was great. But on a more serious note, at the G7 a couple weeks back, the president was there, and the president brought up the idea of maybe letting Russia back in. And then, he brought up the idea of having the next G7 here in the U.S. at his resort in Miami, which got a lot of news. But the big news to me was Macron from France tried to broker a informal behind-the-scenes meeting with Iran, with some of Iran's leadership, not the president, but their ambassador or their, prime minister or whoever it was. And Trump, apparently, it's being reported, was considering it, and Bibi Netanyahu was calling him off the hook, saying, "Please do not meet with Iran." And I almost feel like, I'm a supporter of Israel, and I think Trump's done a lot for Israel, but if there's going to be a meeting, Trump should meet with the president and not some emissary. But should Trump be listening to Netanyahu on who to meet on the global stage?
I think Trump should meet with everyone. I feel like that's kind of been his approach, right? Is take a meeting, don't let that meeting necessarily change anything that you're going to do, right? But always hear people out and meet with leaders of other countries. I mean, everybody said, you can't meet with North Korea, you can't meet, find meetings and common ground with China, whatever. But he's always willing to take a meeting, but he's still going to put pressure on these governments to, try to make a deal or try to accomplish what it is he's trying to get done.
Dave, I think sometimes he makes these snap, rash decisions, which he was probably thinking about doing here. I just think if there's going to be a meeting, it should be planned and it should be way higher level than, some emissary.
Look, Donald Trump and the vast majority of Americans on both sides of the aisle do not want a war with Iran. He knows it would destroy his presidency, destroy his brand, and we know how much he cares about that. So he should go and meet with the president of Iran. All right. The interesting thing is, Bibi and the neocons like John Bolton, they have been trying to get us into a war with Iran for over a decade. Their only hope was to manipulate Trump into a war. But once he has that meeting, it's going to be very hard to maintain this axis of evil thing, just like with North Korea.
And I think it'll probably wind up better because even though the media, left-wing media, keeps telling us, how North Korea is still going after nukes, they haven't fired any long-range missiles. They're doing these little show of force, firing off bottle rockets, these short-range stuff. But he's had an impact through those meetings, if you ask me. I want to thank David Eisenbach for joining us today and welcome him back from Italy, and Fog City Midge for doing her first return appearance. Thank you both very much for mixing it up. Thank you for watching Liquid Lunch, but don't go anywhere. We're coming up right after this with Nico Romano, our sports correspondent, and our picks for the first week of NFL football.